Hello and welcome. This is Arunfoot Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It is August the 4th, 2025. It's another Indian football discussion on the latest that is all happening, be it the All India Football Federation, the future of the Indian Super League, the appointment of Khalid Jamil as the national team head coach, all of that and more, most probably will be once more discussed on this channel. And at the start, maybe some of you might be watching this later on and as a recast or a delayed telecast. If you like the discussion, leave a like behind, share it with other people to join in our discussions, and do subscribe to Arunfoot here on YouTube, my other social medias as well, and visit arunfoot.com. Looking forward to, as always, to your support, and thank you to all of those of you who support me, follow me, and and we take the discussion forward on Indian football as it is now day 3 after Khalid Jamil was appointed the Indian national team head coach on Friday. The Indian Super League impasse seems to be becoming a little bit more severe, with more and more clubs or entities coming forward and saying, you know what, we are gonna stop salaries and other things. So therefore, a lot of issues, a lot of problems that are cropping up. And of course, let's wait and see what happens. There was an announcement earlier today that the CEOs of the 8 ISL teams who sent the letter to the AIFF will meet the top brass of the AIFF in Aero City in New Delhi on Thursday, August the 7th. So things are very, very, very dire. Let's wait and see if something comes about this. And we will have to wait and see. Good evening, woman. Welcome back. Sir, BFC, the club of support has stopped salaries. Yes, they have. Good evening, Siddharth. Welcome back. Uchut, good afternoon to you in the US. Has Khalid accepted the offer and I heard he's not interested? Then why did he apply in the first place? Uchut, there is this rumor going around that Khalid Jamil in the end might not become the national team coach, which might be really, really comical if that happens. But there is this rumor going around that he would like to stay at Jamshedpur. I think there's still no clarity between the AIFF and Jamshedpur FC how they're going to handle the whole matter, because there was this situation, I think, considered about let him be both. Khalid, I think, is also realizing that if he wants something from the AIFF, that will not be easy. And of course, Khalid wants a long time contract, which I think the AIFF at this moment in time is not willing to give him or offer him, let's put it this way. So therefore, a lot of things that are supposedly going on. And of course, also certain people have been speaking about Khalid Jamil in the background. And there is some of the stuff has come up which have featured at East Bengal, at Mohun Bagan, as well as Bangalore United. So therefore, there could be something brewing out there. But let's see with the AIFF. We never know. So we will. As I also love to say, so therefore, let's see. And let's wait and see what happens, because at the moment, Khalid Jamil has not accepted the offer on the table from the AIFF. So therefore, I don't know how the AIFF has approached this, but I think I should have been very, very clear with all the coaches applying that if you're applying, short contract till the end of the AFC Asian Cup 2027 qualifiers. And then after that, we will look for either you qualify and then your contract gets extended, otherwise we'll look for someone new. Hi, Roshan. Welcome back. Guten Abend. Siddharth saying Khalid is in pressure because he knows most of us don't want to see him as national team coach. So Khalid, I don't know if he cares about this, to be very honest to you, but to me, So therefore, for me, I don't know if he is under pressure from us, But I think Khalid Jamil or any other coach, I know that certain coaches did not apply, knowing the situation in and around the AIFF. And therefore, let's wait and see what happens. I think it's a very, very interesting scenario that could evolve. And so therefore, let's see what happens. Hi, Kumar. IFF meeting confirmed with ISL Club CEO on ISL. Yeah, on 7th of August. Yeah, Kumar. That has been only 8 of the 13 are meeting, and Aero City, and already some jokes are gone around who's going to foot the bill. The question I have for those 8 clubs is, why are you going straight to the AIFF and not to your league? Just a little food for thought. Why the clubs going to the AIFF? The AIFF is not your parent organization. Huh? Your parent organization is FSDL Reliance. Why are you not going to FSDL Reliance and talking about this, rather skipping a step and going now to the AIFF? And that to me is a clear-cut sign to me. Is it already desperations? Yeah. I don't know. It's a very bizarre situation. It is, to me, the biggest problem that I see at this moment in time is when I look at the whole scenario of the AIFF directly or indirectly, is that nobody knows what can happen tomorrow, right? And there are people who have worked on, defended stuff, created situations, and all of that is backfiring. And that is very, very worrying. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Khalid is in a spot, I feel for him, for example, if ISL doesn't happen, what is he going to do? And we don't have much time for CAFA Nations Cup. Uchut, there are 2-3 things. One thing is the AIFF has called on coaches to apply for the national team job. Now, the AIFF themselves didn't follow their own criteria because they've not. So that's one. Secondly, as with Manolo Marquez, Khalid is still the coach of a club, and he's quite active at that club at the moment. So that has not been sorted. The salary, the length of the contract seems to be a huge talking point between the AIFF and Khalid, because I think Khalid wasn't aware that the AIFF, as I would have suggested to them and agree that if that is then one good decision is that they want to only do a contract until March 2026, end of the AFC Asian Cup 2027 qualifiers. And as you say, if there is an ISL, does he have a job? So there are a lot of questions to be asked. So therefore, we will wait and see. But yeah, we will have to wait and see if Khalid Jamil actually does become the Indian head coach in the end. Because I think, let's wait and see. These days, Guardians of AIFF Galaxy is quite active everywhere to give AIFF shield. So that there are 3 or 4 sort of groups you see on Indian football who are defending this, who are defending that, who are defending this, who are defending that, and we're not getting to the core of the problem, and to me, I don't know. To me, as all of this doesn't help. Khalid told media that let's focus on Durand Cup now. We will talk about national team after it. And that, Rudra, is to me is a problem. Because either he says I focus on the national team now, I prepare, because I would think a national team camp should be starting this week. Will clubs release players? I don't know. Did anyone speak to the clubs? So is my Durand Cup this whole thing, nobody cares about anything. Nobody in this whole Indian football ecosystem cares about Indian football. Everybody cares only about him or herself. That is the real problem of this Indian ecosystem. This ecosystem is bound to fail because everybody just looks at themselves. It's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, me. At all levels, right? That is the biggest stumbling block for future success. You know? The first question of typing mistake was thought and action on misalignment. Yeah, Kumar, take yourself time. Don't have to be quick. I always say, rather than being quick, be correct. You know what has happened now on what happens on social media when you're trying to be quick rather than correct. So basically, Khalid is not the coach to know. Hannibal, if I understand things right, no. Right? Nothing will happen in that meeting. Matter is in Supreme Court hands. Yes and no. Because, again, the teams are in a situation that they feel themselves that they have to act. Right? That's there's been pressure building, you know. So therefore, for me, it's just let's see what happens. But to me, I don't understand that the ISA clubs have not had a meeting with FSDF. There's been no proper meeting, right? Because FSDF Clay told them we're not in a position to do anything at the moment. Is the AIFF in a position to do something? So this is a problem that again, everybody is looking at themselves and not the overall picture. And to me, the question still remains is why the clubs have not come together and actually sent a letter to the Supreme Court explaining to them the situation. Why did nobody, when the Supreme Court said the MRA has to be on hold, when the lies were told in front of the Supreme Court, you know? Yeah. We are in this mess. I feel Khalid should be given time until March. If he fails us to qualify, then sack him. Yeah. You know, there's no need to even sack. There is no need to sack. This is something where you can say, you know what, either you make it or you don't. And if you don't, we'll look somewhere else. Opinions on Minerva going for MIC 2026 or telling me a little about India U16 MIC tournament, King Cray FC in MIC 2007 because I got to know about it today. I don't know. I remember they played in that thingy, but they played that 11-a-side thing. No? Are they going to play the 11-a-side or the 9-a-side? Because to me, Piyush, the problem is with these kind of tournaments you're playing 3 or 4 days, right? You are playing in a very short span of time, right? So this is, I rather would say, you know, come to Europe for 2 weeks and play 4 or 5 good quality friendlies. They're more worth. What is the value of these, you know, 7-a-side, if you're going to win 10, 12, 15, 20, 25 nil, what are you learning? Okay, you're playing in a nice surrounding, atmosphere is nice, weather is nice, ground is most probably better and all that stuff, yeah. But what are you learning football-wise, right? So I am not sure what you're going to learn in these 3-4 day tournaments, right? They're nice to play in, yeah, okay. And that's the problem. We need to sort out our local league system that the kids are playing enough football across the year, and then in the summer they can go and enjoy themselves. Because what are we doing? Is Minerva actually shuffling around, or are they trying to play always with the best team? I don't know. Yeah. So, what to say? What can be done in this situation? The court decision not to allow is not to them against third party defense against FIFA national solution. Shushanto, FIFA has given up on us. FIFA is helping as much as they need to. Nothing more, nothing less. If you think that the FIFA academies are a big thing, they're doing FIFA academies left, right, and center every day, somewhere or other in the world. That's part of the budgeting that they've created. FIFA is not trying to not give money to the national federations, but rather spend the money themselves, to have a check on things. So, to me, I don't know. It's you know, they're not acting. They're not looking at it. The ISL clubs are not realizing their mistake, and also no unity among them, especially on Kolkata clubs, and fans are in the delusion that ISL that does not matter because they will exist. Kumar, the Kolkata clubs and the don't club them and the fans in the same bracket. Mohammedan already is suffering. Mohammedan is already facing a ban. Is playing only with local players. Mohammedan is not even close. Even if the ISL would start at some stage, at the moment, Mohammedan is not an ISL club. East Bengal and Mohun Bagan live also, yes, the fans and the club officials live in their own world, because if the ISL disappears, I'm not sure if Mr. Goenka or Imami would stick around or leave. Because what is the league going to be? If how is this going to start? How is this system going to work? This is my fear, is that there is a collapse, an imminent collapse happening in Indian football with the support of the highest court in the land. And nobody, these people are talking amongst each other. Okay, nice. Why isn't anyone going to the Supreme Court and asking for an injunction or whatever you want to call it on the matter? Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And therefore, it is, be it the Kolkata clubs, Chennai FC, of course, again, family links to Ambanis. I don't think the letter was worded against the Ambanis in that way. City Football Group doesn't want to get involved in the mess in India. They rather stay neutral, and if need be, they will. And that's a sad part. They will pull out. And those are the problems. So the 8 clubs who are going have not been able to convince the other 5. That's already a failure. You are not speaking with one voice. And why are you going to the AIFF? Why can't you, with all 13 clubs, for once do a video conference with Reliance, or even better, go and meet them in Mumbai? So yeah, let's see. So what are your thoughts on Armando Colasso? As a coach, I respect him a lot, but as an admin, I don't think he's the right person for Indian football. See that he's not an admin. He's a coach. And he's been given a task. I've dealt with him on the admin front many, many years back. Sorry, doesn't happen, doesn't work. That academy guy has been manipulating people on Instagram Reels. Fans want him as national team head coach. Yeah, but isn't that? And this is, sorry, that's why I say we have a problem at all levels now. And therefore, for me, we are in a very tricky situation at this moment in time, and we're not there where we need to be, and that makes it very, very dangerous. I don't know why Durand Cup is so necessary for them. What they're going to achieve winning Durand Cup, rather focus on national team. Raj, very good point. Very good point. But this might be, this is now the new holy grail, because there might be no other competition for the clubs to play. At this moment in time, there's not going to be any other competition. Why only 8 clubs? Why so-called legacy? As I said, it is, to me, the point that the clubs who are, or the people within clubs who are pushing this, have not been able to convince the rest. Indonesia women team called up Noah Liatomo from Fairfair Vamben for ASEAN Championship. Roshan, they are working on things, huh? The propaganda man came with new tournament, that is MIG tournament in Europe. I don't know about it, whether it's another set. Of course it is, at the end of it. It is better quality than the Scandinavians, yes, in that way. But again, it's a four-day tournament. Let's see. Your thoughts on Ismail Monban spending huge sums on team building in the current scenario? Stupid. Irresponsible and stupid. They've manipulated the market, right? I mean, Mohammad Supergiant has been doing this for years. The others as well. And East Bengal has joined the party. East Bengal has made the matters worse, no? In their desperation. I mean, if I see some of the salaries that are being offered on the table, it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all what kind of monies are being paid to the players at the moment. I don't know, but I have gut feeling that FSDL understands now. Not AIFF, not clubs or sales on helping in football. That's a very interesting viewpoint, Siddharth. Very interesting because, you know, the interesting part is when Reliance came around and said, you know what, we are dismantling FSDL, we're creating a new body. You own 60% of the league, the clubs. AIFF 60%, we 24%. I still don't even know if the clubs have agreed to that. Right? And let's see. 11 aside. Piyush, I hope so. I don't know if all the matches are 11, but again, what is it? 4 or 5 matches in 4 days? 11 aside? What are they 40-minute? I think they're 40, 50-minute matches. What are you going to get out of it? Again, these are nice experience for the boys, but nothing of it. My post-European travel done, I feel very bad. He's not feeling fun. Yeah, but that's the business model. No? Now I understand why clubs didn't build stadium training facility academies. They knew it's just a waste of money infra. Yeah, but Raj, think about it the other way around. If I'd made infra investment, if I'd made investment in grassroots and youth, I would be more committed, right? I would not be now club by club shutting down my operations or reducing my operations because I would understand that I'm in a situation where I need to utilize the facility, the staff, the system that I've created, right? I mean, I've won cups before as well. Where are those players? Nobody knows. Good question. National team camp will not start until at least August 16, which is when Jamshedpur will play quarterfinal of Durand, which is a disaster. I think it should start this week. Some players are playing Durand, very nice, but what about the rest? You could start a camp today, right? Is it true that FIFA AIFF Academy in Russia doesn't have coach because he fought over a car? Akash, I've heard. I know that there is a coach problem, and someone sent me something today about this car. I don't know about that car thing, but there have been, yeah. So let's see. Ishoma reported Khalid said he will not be available till Jamshedpur FC there in Durand. Is he really that ignorant? Yes. Akash, there are multiple reasons not to have him as a national team coach. And this is, the AIFF have appointed on paper someone as the national team head coach of India, where the gentleman still is contracted to Jamshedpur FC. And the contract hasn't been worked out. How can I appoint one on paper at least, or informally say, hey, he's my coach, AIFF will not plea in court because Chaube want to complete his term. Most of the clubs are okay with shutdown, and FSDL have no interest in Indian football now, so no one will plead. FSDL would. See, the point is not FSDL, Reliance would, because one point is clear to me. If FSDL wanted to pull out, I think there were a lot of options over the last 2 years to actually pull the plug on the ISL. You can run out your MRA till 25, but I think in 23, there was a time when after Hero pulled out that Reliance could have said, you know what, there are no takers, even, and I come to a very important point, which has been pointed out by some people over the last 2-3 days, right? We need international success of the national team, this and everything. Yes, very true. But did any large scale sponsor come forward after the success of the Indian team in 23? Nobody, right? So this whole thing, we need to look at the whole structure. We need to build the whole structure. And only then, if all the parts come together, then it can work. The clubs 2 years ago didn't thought, Reliance, as long as Reliance there, again, Reliance was doing the work and these guys didn't have to bother. Now they're in a fix like, oops, you know what? Yeah. I still don't know why intervention is not filed. Come on, ask the clubs, right? This is like in cases, let's see where it goes. Ravi Pushkar gave a very good interview at Vivek Sethia, telling if the cycle breaks for one season, the cycle for development starts from the beginning. Roshan, he said a lot of good things, and I suggest you watch, the interview that I did with Ravi a few weeks ago, and look at the situation then, and we spoke about it after the loss to Hong Kong and what Ravi said, and then what Ravi now says to Vivek a few weeks later in a little bit more detail and in a face-to-face format, which I found very good. Vivek does those very good interviews. And not only the cycle of development, but he talks about how they've tried to grow FC Goa over the last 10, 11 years with setbacks and what things they haven't done or haven't been able to do, right? So therefore, that's the thing. The day when Goenka Imami leaves, that day the officials might wake up, oh no, we don't have no investors. Yeah. And Raj, maybe then the Mamata Banerjee is in government or is not in government. And in the worst case scenario, the BJP comes in and we see that situation in Odisha. The BJP doesn't care about football, right? If Khalid will be full-time national team coach, then he should leave Jamshedpur FC immediately. Yeah, but he's not, right? So this whole episode is another, joke. Sad joke that we have become. Another Sangbapudin Sports Dulal, they was right. Khalid was already chosen as the coach. Rest was an eyewash. No interview was taken. Nope. Top 10 Prime TV. I once more have to say no, because I know that there were discussions going on Thursday evening and even on Friday morning about this whole thing. But there were certain people who wanted this. You can say that certain people wanted this and they pushed it through. Is that then pre-decided? Okay, if you want to say that is pre-decided, then say it. But otherwise, it was not pre-decided. Kalyan Chaube had said he wanted an Indian coach. We know that Armando Colasso, Bimal Ghosh, Shabir Ali, I M Vijayan, all these guys wanted an Indian coach. We know that Shubro Pal was on the side of Stephen Constantine. I know that certain people were on the side of getting Stefan Tarkovic into it. There were certain EXCO members who were in favor of Stephen Constantine. So it was not pre-decided. That is clear to me, at least. The question now is, it would be comical, but that would be Indian football. If now the AIFF is forced to say, you know what, Khalid is not accepting us. Sorry, Stephen, could you take over for us? Possible. Indian football, these kind of things, these insane things are always possible. So therefore, for me, I don't discount anything, and let's wait and see where we go, right? Very crazy. Except Shine, Indian football, no Kolkata journalists never ever discussed the current situation of Indian football. They're doing transfer news. I doubt those YouTuber journalists have basic knowledge of Indian football. Vishwajit, yeah, but even, because these people cater to a base, and let's see. I think the ISL clubs don't want to take responsibility as co-owner of the league. Akash, exactly. That's another point that is not being discussed. Do the ISL clubs really want to be part of being not just, hey, we come, turn up, play and go home, right? Or do they have to get involved? Do they have to get involved in the financial side of things as well, right? because they have to work together. And this first test, right, of ISL clubs working with the AIFF, they've already failed. Very simple. If they started with banger, even at clubs to expand fan base more than the clubs, but they saw those clubs can't feed themselves anyways, wanted spoon feeding. Siddharth, it's not just FSDL and ISL. Think about the I-League, the NFL. Pressure on the AIFF subsidizing things, paying money for stuff, the clubs in India want things to be done for them, So you and Musa Bhai are the only ones to discuss AIFF situation. The other YouTubers won't discuss something else, even if they discuss if it's for pointing out their mistakes. Adi, thanks. But not only Musa Bhai and me, I think even Hiren, as Curious Harry, tries it. I know Hiren has Indian football in his heart and in the right spot. Maybe not sometimes difficult. I think Ashish also on K now has been doing a lot of things. So it's not just one or two or three. There are more of us. But yes, there are a lot more who are not talking about these things or talking about things which are the way they are. And and therefore, we need to look at how we can keep on discussing these things and try and take it in the right direction. Right? It's a huge problem, and that's the way it sadly is, right? Quick reminder, already over 32 minutes. Wow, that was quick. On this Monday evening here, 4th of August, 2025. If you haven't, leave a like, leave a share behind. 15 likes so far. Thank you very much. Share with others to join our conversations. And of course, subscribe to the channel. 2,808 at the moment. So we're slowly growing now. Help me to grow. And as I say, I try to be your voice in Indian football and talk about things. Let's see. Khalid is still Jamshedpur FC coach and has a contract. He can't just leave Jamshedpur FC in Durand Cup. Of course he can, Raj. There's always a termination clause in a contract, right? And, Indian players are still sitting at home amid uncertainty if they are not trying to go to lower Asian leagues. They're not. Who's going? Who's trying? I've had players ask me about Europe, yes. And I've realized one or two are serious about it. But I also tell them the reality. Now I've even, had players come, I would like to. I said, yeah, but you're not going to get anything of what you expect, and you won't be able to play at the level you want to. So, where do we go? So, but with that infrastructure, what would they do? We don't have a league. Raj, if they had the infrastructure, my saying is, if these clubs had infrastructure, bigger investments, had value, it would be even more in the interest to ensure that the league continues. Right? The commitment on a higher level, how can I produce that? And that's the problem. Somebody asked me why Indian media takes football seriously, like cricket. AIFF runs by clans, not the BCCI with some real people. Yeah, but it's not. BCCI has its own set of problems. But again, AIFF, the less we speak, the better. Hi, Vaishnav. I'm even more worried about the future recruiting of coaches as what this whole thing signals and interested in where recruited coaches who apply for the job and aren't even given a fair chance. No one will apply in future like this. Vaishnav, no one, I don't think so. But I do think that the better level coaches from what we currently could approach. I don't know if a Takovic, for example, would apply again for India. Let's say Stefan Takovic, or a Peter Segat. Would these guys apply, knowing the way it's now gone for 3 times that you apply, but de facto there is some backroom dealings and sorting out. The 8-9 clubs exist because of the ISL. With all the negatives, we have few clubs running few years, not just East Bengal or Monsport, despite a fragile system. Otherwise, there would have been nothing called Indian football. Yeah, but how? right? And running is always, in my opinion, a tough one to talk about, because to me also the problem is, just for the sake of running a club doesn't mean. So therefore, for me, I don't know. It's something. Oh no, your prediction regarding national team selection on the card. Do you think players like Vishnu, David, Dipendo, and more young players will get a chance, or to play Khalid preference like Ashutosh? Do you think that Vishnu, David, Dipendo are national team players? Vishnu, that would be my counter question. Because if you call these players up, then you can shut down the national team, and we don't need to play. Because they're not national team level yet. And most of them should be playing under 23s. Let me see what they can do in the under 23s under Nosrat Musa. None of them. Tell me again, this whole young players discussion. I really got angry on Friday when we did the Twitter space, when people, we've got Vishnu, we've got Edmund, we've got Sohail. I said, are you serious? That's the level? Before I would call them, I would try and reactivate Baichung Bhutia most probably. That is the problem of the level of players we're talking about. In the past, they would only be able to buy an Indian national team jersey in a shop. They would never get close to the national team jersey. That's the, crazy. The OJSL clubs are not interested. I don't blame the owners. I blame their office bearers. They just took big paychecks and did nothing. No fan engagement, no grassroots investments, nothing. No. I blame the owners. Akash. Grassroots investment is not something which the management will decide. It is the owners to decide. If you tell Mr. Goenka, listen, you want to spend 100 crores, ticket, could you give me 20 crores and I'll create a fund for investment infrastructure every year, 10 crores, and another 10 crores I spend on grassroots and youth. What will he tell you? No, spend those 20 crores on the first team. Don't get into that, this thing. And it's the same thing with the other clubs, right? And those who have invested in grassroots and youth, what are they producing? That's the other point, right? It is not an ISL only problem. It is a problem of the whole system. What are you producing? What level of quality of players you're producing? What's the level of coaching? If Siddharth is part of that coaches group, if you see the discussion, you would think all of them are world-class coaches. There is no level of introspection, right? That is our biggest problem. Right? And the office bearers, you on that, right? You're right. They were sleeping because they thought, hey, listen, it's gonna something or the other will happen. Don't worry about it. And suddenly owners are saying, you know what? Before nothing happens, let's shut the whole thing down. So once Panasonic was national team sponsor back in 2010 at cost of 4.75 crore, they want to have any info like this that much earning on any info about the same. Yeah, we had sponsors. Airtel was there for a while. Panasonic came around for a while. They didn't stick around, no? Because we're talking about the I-League days, right? This Panasonic deal was done, but they didn't see the value. So at the end of it, that's your problem, right? So let's see. Kerala FC started it now. Odisha FC, Chennai, FC, Bangalore FC are following that path. Usha, it wasn't started by Blasters. I'd say Blasters announced that you can go, but Blasters have not shut down their operations as such. Odisha were the first to announce it. Yes, Chennai didn't announce it, but it was like that. And KBFC also. Right. And again, not only them, Goa is now doing it because they play the Champions League, 2 qualifiers, and let's think FC Goa loses on the 13th to RCRC. I don't think that they will then shut shop, right? Yeah. Imagine if now things don't work out with Khalid, who will agree to sail the sinking ship, complete bot job to say coach appointed before pen was put to paper. Vaishnav, I think one could. I would hope you can convince Stephen to take the job. Beg a little, say sorry. I think Stephen would take it. Please do some interview with some stakeholders like Raghush will get more views and fans want real inside news other than YouTube's fake thumbnail. I've spoken to a few people in the last few days and I'm speaking to some on a regular basis, but no one wants to come and speak. I mean, I did speak to Ravi a few weeks ago after the Hong Kong game, and I was thankful to him that he came on the channel, but others are very difficult to try and speak to at the moment. Current government completely puts football and CFA Premier League. The clubs are likely owned by CM's family members or a party leader to Cubs, safe home India, Churchy, and party office. We're happy with the claims, but not too. Don't know, even for Vijay, they will continue to support. No, they won't. See, that's Akash. They will help to kill those entities. Look at how they're dealing with Bengalis in other parts of India anyway. Do you think that a player who's talented would come to the top even with the problems in the ecosystem? Yes, Ran. If a player is really talented, it will happen. It is your assumption of the truth. So, do you think Indian kids think they have elite ball knowledge and playing ability with Red is different? Yes. Whenever I've had kids over from India to play tournaments over here, right, they thought they will win the tournament and they normally finish last. Shachi invested in Modern Sporting as CM's close friend, convinced and showed them we can be like East Bengal Mohan. Anyway, there are so many stories and you guys read up things, but yeah, some of the stuff. Yeah. Next time when a coach advertisement comes out, we won't have 100+ applications. That will be more hoax and AI generated ones. What should next time when the AIFF looks for a coach, they will have to find a different process, way of finding a coach. Otherwise, this will not work for them. How does AIFF host national team matches in various venues? Who's managing all the things, finance, facilities? National team department, right? You have a specific team department. The finance is cleared by the finance department in the AIFF. Facilities are, in the last few times, have been provided by state governments, and then cross funding whatever there is. And let's see. Now even Sana and Imran Khan will be national team players directly. Yeah, that's the thing. State government sponsors. No, state government sponsors not. State government reduces the cost, right? Offers stadiums at free of cost, offers security for other things, but it's not sponsor per se. What will happen to physical infra built by Hyderabad SC Sudevasi Nandali? What has Hyderabad built? Did I miss something? Oh, that one ground, yeah, they're leaving Hyderabad anyway, right? I don't even know if that facility is still there. Sudeva is an academy, so I don't know if Sudeva actually has infrastructure. Namdali has a stadium. Yeah. Why exactly Hero left? Akash, they didn't see a value in it. A sponsor needs to see some value in their invest, and that has been a problem for Indian football. That the so-called investors who put in the money didn't see the value of putting money into Indian football. Now, Hero extended the contract 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. But after year 9, they clearly said, you know what? We don't see a value in this anymore. That's sad. I feel very sad. But that's the reality. And therefore, we've seen over the last 2 seasons, very difficult for them to actually even, convince betting brands to come forward. I mean, East Bengal demanded so much that no betting brand was willing to fulfill their, and that was the only ones who were still putting money into them with surrogate advertising, right? Yeah, even that I think will fail this year. So what is happening around AIFF meet with clubs already 3 years late? Yeah, I don't know why the clubs are meeting the AIFF, to be very honest with you guys, because I don't know if the clubs are in the position to meet the AIFF, so therefore for me, it's happening on Thursday, and you'll have to wait and see what is the outcome. I mean, a meeting is nice, but I would have said, who are the 3 parties, so to say, involved in this? If you ask me, who are the 3 parties involved in this? Who are they? They are the AIFF, FSL Reliance, and the ISL teams. Why can't I have the AIFF, FSL Reliance, and all the 13 clubs attending, of maybe 14, depending on if I want to invite even Interkashi, right? So therefore, that's the, let's see. Do you think logistical and transportation costs are one of the big reasons behind huge losses? If so, then why don't they think MLS conference model? No, Akash. I think traveling costs and hotel costs are manageable. The player salaries are your biggest problem, right? The player salaries, all the clubs are around 20, 25 crores, right? For the material that they have. So that is, I think, the biggest challenge that I think we have at the moment in the ISL, right? So therefore, I don't know. It's a tough ask, and we'll have to wait and see what happens, right? Hi, the Waves. Will Kashi play from UP next season? That is, if ISL happens. The Waves not clear because they're supposedly working with the government to get a ground ready for ISL level, but as with everything else, I guess Interkashi, if they play ISL, might have to play somewhere else in the first year. But let's see. That's the challenge. But why with just 8 clubs in this meeting? The Waves, the others have not signed the letter, no? The Kolkata 3 and Mumbai City as well as Chennai FC have decided not to first sign the letter and secondly then so to say go it on their own. And and difficult step, but my question is, if these clubs are going now to the AIFF, why haven't you had a proper meeting with the Reliance before that? Why are you not taking a Reliance with you, right? That would be the best. But Reliance is clearly stated, and listen, we're not going to do anything as long as there's no decision from the Supreme Court in regard to the MRA. And the second point is, after the MRA, the second point to me very, very clearly is how we're going to be able to sort things out to grow. And we'll have to wait and see, right? Jindal wants to shift Hyderabad FC to Delhi, so now even most of the clubs are heading towards shutdown. So what can be their solution forward? Raj, the only solution forward is if we know what's going to happen to the club structure in Indian football, right? And that depends Supreme Court, AIFF, and of course Reliance as well. We are stuck, the question is how do you sort it out, right? So it's I don't know if there is a simple answer to this issue at the moment. Is Citigroup shutting down Mumbai City FC? Raj, not at the moment as far as I know, but again, all these teams, they haven't all are thinking about what to do at this moment in time. I think that's the catch at the moment. That's a terrible advert for the league, though. Punjab playing from Delhi, Kashi playing from northeast. No, Kashi playing in east. No? It's in north of Kolkata. Hyderabad FC shifting to Delhi of all places. Yeah, but that's a reality, right? I mean, the way Punjab FC can't play in Punjab because there is no ISL capable venue. Interkashi, because those guys who are behind Interkashi are actually Kolkata based. So, and Kashi or UP doesn't have a I-League ready stadium, and Hyderabad FC would be because the Generals are based in around Delhi, and they clearly said from the start that they would like to have a team in Delhi. People, especially legacy fans, thinking that FSTL pulls out, there are any others waiting to put funds. The Lions Foundation Young Champs invest a lot to grassroots. The legacy clubs don't even care about these grassroots. Yeah, I don't know, but they live in their own world, no? And that's the problem. That is our problem at the moment. ISL is most probably going to end. A new league might come next year, which might go on for another 10 years, and then again the cycle goes on and on and on. Angry Birds, if the ISL disappears, I honestly don't know what is even happening. So If the ISL disappears, I don't know what will, yeah, let's see what happens. Imagine if Jindal Group having to play one more season from Hyderabad. Why would the fans even bother turning up? The Vibes. That's a, I mean, yeah, that's a valid point, valid problem. The question is, where do they actually factually play, right? I mean, that's the question. Do you think this contract situation should have been started in 2023 and signed by end 24? Yeah, Brennan, I've said this many times. I don't know if you've heard it, that I thought the best timing to start renegotiations would have been after the SAF Cup victory in 2023 in July. There are even lives. Look at the old lives. Even I spoke about it with Rahul at the time. So yeah, Chelsea Brothers went to Swiss Supreme Court against CAS judgment. It wasn't fruitful. Let's put it this way: not fruitful is putting it nicely. Some lawyers smartly earned some money, and they were totally embarrassed in the Swiss Supreme Court because they said it's not our jurisdiction. You have not understood that the highest court in the world in regard to sports is CAS. This is, ignorance. So, yeah, let's wait and see. It won't be easy as Mumbai City FC fan, although I'm Bengali, seeing shutting down of Mumbai City FC. Raj, I understand it. Because I feel it the same way. If Mumbai City has to shut shop, for me personally, I would, having been involved at the start, at the foundations of the club, it feels hard. But I also know the realities of, and yeah. So therefore, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. But I still hope that there is some sort of solution found for the Indian Super League. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. Right? That's my personal concern. And yeah, Mumbai City FC or even Punjab FC, I've got special links. Another, can you help to understand why is AIFF working with Zinc Football Academy and puts resources there instead? Also running a youth league. Are they putting resources over there? I thought that Hindustan Zinc is putting the resources there. I don't think that the AIFF is putting any resources in there. They're working together, but I don't see AIFF putting any resources in that project. Why is the Ghana scoring such huge number of goals? Jyoti, if you're talking about Minerva going over there, because they're playing with grassroots programs, they're not playing against academies. What must a club like Mumbai City or Bangalore even do right now? No pre-season, no Durand, all signings on hold. Mumbai City, from what I know, has no plans at all on when the season is going to start. Nil, nada. The Vips, it is understandable at the moment. What would be the advice, given the realities of things, that if where we are now, if I look at our situation at this moment in time, I can't criticize the owners of a team who say, you know what, I put everything on hold, So, very difficult. ISL is the thing that's still putting India on football. If ISL shuts down I-League, I-League 2, state league clubs will also face and yeah, huge problems, which is not being understood down the system. The legacy clubs, sorry to say, have become political headquarters where cut money matters the most. Don't get me wrong now that this is only in India, most probably. Okay. Hello, how are you? I'm good, Vikram. Good to see for me. Wrong decision by Steve Stevens should be coach. Looking Durand Cup, Indian players are playing. Don't know Khalid will be able to boost results with these Indian players. No, he won't, Vikram. And I agree with you, yeah. I said it before. Look, my short videos, I said clearly, I stood there and I said, It's either Stephen or Habas for me. And again, those two were the only ones that, if you ask me, that I would have said, should be in the running for that job. But for whatever reasons, that didn't happen, right? So I will have to wait and see where we go with this now. I think FSL should end this and invest in other sports, maybe individual sports, but just take funds from his family and run the system. Yeah, they're already doing Olympic sports, so, and very successfully via the Reliance Foundation. You think we should have appointed Steve instead of Khalid? 100% the Waves. I've said this multiple times. I mean, if you see my videos before the appointment of Khalid, and before the hoax, 2 weeks ago, I did a video where I said, no, my favorites are Senior Habas and Stephen Constantine, right? So therefore, for me, those two were always my favorites. Yeah. I think the fanboys of Xavier must demand to sponsor ISL. Let him sponsor Indian football. Forget ISL. The market is going to take a hit. It's going to be so difficult to get fans back to the stadium, especially after the kind of season we had. So disappointing, this from AIFF. The Vapes, it is a disaster. And you're right. Because forget the small little things here and there. We need to try and figure out how we're going to build this whole thing, right? At the moment, we are in a situation like, can we rebuild? Can we grow? Can we do what is needed to take Indian football forward? That's the challenge at the moment. So for me, the marketing is a disaster. Yeah. So therefore, yeah. Hi, Shan. Yes, I'm doing fine. Hope you're doing well as well. Have you seen Maidan? No, I haven't. Is the story there? 100% is exaggerated because it tells you a story as if we won the World Cup or something. I wanted Stephen, he knows in and out. He was the best. Yeah, I don't know. Hi, Harry. Welcome back. Pradyum Reddy also said Khalid is technically not the best choice as national team coach. Yeah, Pradyum was right. It's yeah. And that's the problem, is that those who've decided this matter, again, it is not, I reiterate the point, it was not pre-decided, but certain people wanted to influence it in a certain way and they were able to do it. And therefore, we're stuck in this situation. So therefore, for me, it's very, let's see. The problem with fans is that they, despite knowing the reality, don't want to accept it and live in own La La Land. Yeah, Dilulu, whatever, La La Land, Raj, whatever you want to call it. Yes, but I also, I think a lot of fans don't understand how all these things work, how this could work or that work. They don't, people from their so-called social media persona, so therefore for me, this is the main issue as per my understanding with the fans, that the fans need to learn, understand that how the realities are of things and willing to accept. Meeting between ISL clubs and FC World as per F. Yes, Ishan, again, you joined late. Maybe you want to listen to the earlier part of the show. We discussed it. For me, and it's not between clubs and FSL, but ISL clubs, 8 ISL clubs who've written the letter will meet the AIFF. So therefore, for me, yeah, let's wait and see if it has any impact at all. I always hear Bajaj is grabbed and nowhere in the world the top leagues are owned, run by the country's football bodies. How true is it that I haven't researched as much, but this sounds made up? Vaishnav, most of the leagues are privately owned. The Premier League, the Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, League A, MLS, A League, whatever you want, K League, Y League, Z League. Most of the proper leagues around the world are owned by private entities and sometimes even by the commercial partners. So what do you think about Kabir Nath? Is it good enough for national team or is it overhyped? Just asking. The which of they have never seen Kabir play. So difficult for me to judge. He's playing in Andorra. Yeah. I don't know if he's good enough for the national team or not. Do technical committee know that Khalid is appointed? They've appointed him, but if you should, Raj, you should ask the question differently. Has Khalid accepted? Right. So, so my question would be that way rather. Has he accepted the role that he's supposed to have taken up? So yeah, I don't know. I the less I say, the better, because this is, yeah. Let's wait and see. But how did they appoint Khalid without sorting out the contract details and legit playing Durand still and would barely have any time before the CAFA Nations Cup? The Whips, they didn't sort it out beforehand. And they're still talking about Lent. It's one thing that the three guys vouch for this. It has to be an Indian coach now. The arguments I read in the AIFF statement by Khalid Jamil left me speechless. Roshan, yeah. I think it's not only left you speechless, it's left a lot of people speechless who follow Indian football, who are fans of Indian football, who are well-wishers of Indian football, only just thinking is, how? How could they take such a decision in the way that they've taken it? And that's, yeah, welcome to the crazy world of the All India Football Federation in the year 2025. This is how, a few elder gentlemen think, they know, they understand, say, yeah, it's time. No. We have a lot more people in Indian football now which aren't really into Indian football but make vague outrage as initiated by some European creators. They don't know anything except from reels. Harry, yeah, and I've seen even some mainstream comedians do, so therefore for me, it is the way, sadly it is. If you want real football content, you wouldn't go there, right? But people are speaking about it, and yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Do you think Manolo was the right choice, and how did they not learn from this dual role disaster? No, the Whips. Again, I always say to everybody, just go through some of my old videos. I might have not said it directly, right? But oh, Manolo, to me, I said I give him a chance, but he lacked that international experience, and he didn't differentiate between standards of the ISL and standards of the in national team level to play. I think that, to me, is one of the biggest problems, that we have had a coach who didn't understand that it is a different thing to play club football and to play international football. And therefore, yeah, we are where we are. So what I read in AIFF was just the opposite. Fans would have accepted like an island. Harry, that press statement is an indication of how badly managed the federation at the moment, sadly, is. Right? A reality. Sajid tweeting like he's saying he was part of the regime, but he didn't do anything, but now tweets like he's. And they're all part of the same group. India's group have Iran, Tajikistan, Afghanistan. Maybe Tajikistan, Afghanistan will send the main squad, but what about Iran? Will they send, or will they send a team without some? Iran is going to be playing a B team, because the top players from Europe will not be playing in that squad. I do feel bad for Khalid. He kept Mumbai FC up for so long. What's your opinion on him, though? With his recent stints with Jamshedpur FC, Northeast United, Bangalore United, and Nepal stint was a shocker. The hips, not national team material. Like with some of the players, not national team material. If someday after match PC Khalid says CAFA Nations Cup is not a priority, our goal is qualifiers, that could happen. Has Khalid signed the paper from a national team coach? No, Hannibal, he hasn't. I think I have to appreciate you for your efforts for doing it more than 3 decades. If I were you, I would have gone away after 2 years, that you keep on supporting the football. Then not more than 3 decades, close to, let's say, 27 years plus. Mm, but yeah, I will try and do whatever I can in the long run, right? I've done my things. I will continue to support Indian football the way I can. And yeah, it's if I can do more, I will do more. But I will fight. And what I say always, my mistake has been over the years is that I didn't use social media as much as I should have. Right now, I use social media as a tool, and yeah, here we are. Some guys are hyping Roshan of Mohun Bagan CFL team who played against BSF to saying better than Shubhashish Bose should play in first team, etc. It's literally BSF. Scooter Hitter, uh, to me, the problem is if we take BSF, Indian Army, whatever else is playing seriously, then already it's a problem, right? I mean, Mohun Bagan with this team against BSF, sorry. I mean, if you're not scoring 5, 6, 7, 8, forget 5, 6. If you're not scoring 7 or 8, we don't need to talk about those games, right? Can you tell me why did Stephen left Pakistan? Was it from him or the Pakistan affair as far as I was making them progress? I think PFF and him wanted to part because the new PFF president wants to bring in someone else, or and yeah, therefore they ended it. If he hasn't signed, so there is a chance of him not being national team coach. If you want to say it that way, Hannibal, yes, there is a potential danger that he will not become the national team coach. Truly, Manonava, I went mad, especially on the steam match era, like it was legit blood boiling in such a helpless situation. Man, kudos to you. Truly, I've always said this. Thank you, the Waves. I try and do whatever I can, right? And again, I can only speak out, and yeah. But I sometimes feel at the moment, Friday, for example, I was actually on the road. I was driving. Didn't have much time, but I thought, you know what? Let's get together. Let's speak about this whole Khalid appointment. And it was good to speak. But then when I hear some of the people and their opinions, then you know that they don't have even a little bit of a understanding of where we are, what the situation is, what the problems are, what the issues are. And that is my biggest concern, that a large majority of Indian football fans don't understand. I mean, I could create a persona tomorrow and do stuff and show stuff, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, blah, blah, blah. I could be a rock star on social media, but it would have no value on Indian football. I'd rather do the work rather than selling myself as being this or being that or doing this or doing that. Let's see. 27 years, I'm only 24, the older than me. What's a big thing? I saw you get emotions seeing women's footy. I hope men also achieve some good things too soon. And anyway, yeah. I mean, if you want, it's supposedly it was there on broadcast when India lost to Bahrain. You could see me at the 2019 AFC Asian Cup in Sharjah after that game with tears in my eyes, realizing I had started some plans to extend my stay to the round of 16 in the UAE, but I then cancelled all of it. But yeah, what to say? The less I say, the better. The Kolkata club fans are most ones. What can you expect from them? Raj, no need to abuse, but I know what you mean and I understand your feeling, So yeah, that's a problem, and we need things to change. Also, I forgot to change my name. It was me Blue. I thought so, but I didn't want to intrude, so to say. Don't give me hopes. Yeah, that could be. By the way, say, will the student will come this year? Blue, you asked me a question which I actually told someone today. I told someone today, you know what? If this continues at this pace, they will not clear the sports bill in the parliament, and they will not clear the AIFF constitution in the Supreme Court. This will go on for the next six to 12 months, and we're hoping things will change, and then things are actually getting worse and worse. It's a very sad. It's a very, very sad situation. It's a very tragic situation for us. And yeah, it's I don't know. As in Durand Cup, we're seeing all India ISL teams struggling with third, fourth tier or army teams. Can we say Indian players have very shallow quality difference between first and fourth tier and majorly carried by foreigners? Harry, yes. But the point at the end of the day is, if you ask me, what is the given also the situation we are in, are our players really motivated to play football? Just a question. Are players motivated to play in Durand Cup? Right? So those are the realities of things, no? So welcome to the whole mess of a situation we find ourselves in, no? So yeah. So let's see. I feel sad when people say Ego was better than Manolo. Yeah, but Raj, I mean, some of these things I've actually given up to argue with people because there's no need. If not Khalid, then who? Stephen? Hannibal, I don't even know. And the question is, and you're asking this question, will Stephen Constant come after seeing this? So, Hannibal, maybe not. I would hope because Stephen has dealt with yeah, I don't know. I think if approached, I think he would take the job. If you think from his heart, Khalid being an Indian will put in more effort and try hard to deliver results. Tactically, he may not be the ideal choice, but hopefully he can prove us wrong. No. Trinawala, there is the matter of quality. The players know you. Some players trust you, like you. And others, there's a lot of players who will not be happy with Khalid, the national team. I know that. And again, if he becomes a national team coach, I wish him all the best. But on the other side, yeah, very difficult. Why does the AIFF post a lot of things would be the question in the last few months now. And all these Messi is probably visiting 3-4 Indian cities and will meet the PM and Indian football countries language. Which I don't even know if it's happening, right? Supposedly Argentina was coming in October, November. There've been even talks about that. I think some sponsorship money has been raised. Now suddenly Messi is supposed to come to India on his own. I don't really know. I mean, we are all over the place. Last time I cried was the 4-1 Thailand win. Indian football doesn't give you as many chances to be sentimental for good reasons. Otherwise, we're constantly crying out of sadness all the time. Very true. Vaishnav, I didn't cry. I just enjoyed in the end. And yeah, that 4-1 is with my 4, 5, 6 personal highlights up there. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a fact that Indian players don't respect and Indian coach players don't take them seriously. Yeah, Raj, that's a big thing which Indian coaches don't want to accept. If government interfere, then ISL will not start tomorrow. But in my thinking, this current AIFF state lines issue can be solved in a minute. But as football fan, this is the sign to see current government don't care. Government cannot do anything. This is not a government matter, right? So, nah. There is a rumor of Jammu Kashmir getting statehood tomorrow if this happens and forget sports. Okay. Interesting, Hannibal. I haven't heard that. Guten Abend, not gluten. Aditya, remove the L. It's Guten Abend. Slept mercilessly today on bed. Okay, good for you. Hopefully you're rested. Teams are playing Durand because it is organized by the government, armed forces, and the present circumstances. Had it been any other organizer, none of the pro teams would have played. Uchut, very important point, right? Very, 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 yeah. If the Durand wasn't organized by the army, I think no one would have turned up, right? So that's the reality of things. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. At this moment in time, it is shocking to see what what is happening in Indian football, and the less I say, the better I always feel from those circumstances. Right, more than an hour and 15 minutes, so 75 minutes plus on this Indian football discussion live on Arun Foot. So far, 21 likes. Do like if you like the conversation. Share with other people. And guys, I need your support to grow the channel so that more people get to know. We need to grow this Arun Foot family, as I tell you, to be able to influence more of the things that are happening in Indian football. I need your support here. I need your support on my other social medias as well. Thanks a lot. 2,810 at the moment, so thanks a lot. And yeah, let's get the right way out. The things that need to be done. Manolo just managed 8-9 games, that too with dual role. Nobody even remembers how big a disaster he was before 2023. Even later in 2024, all of them said give Ego time. Same one said Manolo West. Very good. What should you also missed a point? Kalyan when click photo with Messi. That's Vishwajit, yeah. If possible, yeah. Let's see. By the way, sir, as per social media linguistic genius from India, Bengali is not separate language, and Vande Mataram, Jana Gana Mana are written in Sanskrit. Yeah, Blue, the level of intelligence, you know, is going down by the second in a lot of things, and that is the real scary part. And you know, so therefore, yeah. I don't know. I honestly, some of the stuff at the moment going around the globe is just insane. Just insane. Dada, you and I know the reality, but I'm just trying to satisfy my thoughts. Chirawala, I understand you. I get it, and this is a sarcastic laugh or smile. The point is, I always say that we have to try and get through difficult phases, and this at the moment is just as bad as it can get. I don't get how jokes become so serious, and even serious matters become jokes in India. Blue, as I said, it's a global phenomenon. You know, global phenomenon, and it's a huge issue. It's a huge issue. In Germany, changing their grassroots football from coaching point of view to kids' point of view. Have you heard about any of these? Renal, yes, in a sense they've changed it. I don't know if the point of view has changed from coach to player, but I know that at the younger ages of under sevens, under nines, and even under nine, you know, you are trying to get more kids to play, more game time. So therefore, yeah, that's if you want to call it changing from a coach's to a player's view, then call it that. I wonder what Kalyan Chaubey says to Arsene Wenger, Raj. I don't know. Maybe he explains him what Indian football is all about. I don't know if Mr. Wenger cares, to be honest. FC Goa was Asib was a higher level opponent. Yeah, Renal, that's one. But the question is FC Goa, exposure, training, matches. They're going fresh into that game. Huh? That's a risk. Do you think the newly opened FIFA Academy Telangana would help women football? It won't do much in men's, but will it benefit the women's game in India? Harry, no idea. Honestly, again, these kind of academies are more, in my opinion, again, in India, they're being sold as elite academies, but I know from other countries that they started as elite and became sort of more grassroots, so we'll have to wait and see. So that's it. Do you see any outcome on 7th August meeting between clubs and AIFF? No. They will make a statement or something of sort, and then we'll see. But I don't see what the value of that conversation will be. Right? To me, what are they going to talk about? What tangibles can they speak about? Because the AIFF actually is not in a position to yeah. and therefore we'll have to wait and see. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But to me, let him speak. Let's see if there's anything. BFC club statement just came. Check it. Okay, the BFC club statement. So I just read the statement issued by BFC just a few minutes ago, and it says, in view of the uncertainty surrounding the future of the Indian Super League, Bengaluru Football Club has taken what is a very difficult decision of indefinitely suspending the salaries of players and staff belonging to the first team. Running and sustaining a football club in India has always been an uphill climb, one that we have put everything aside and made season after season. However, the lack of clarity of the league's future leaves us with no choice but to take this step. The future well-being of our players, staff, and the families of utmost importance to us. We are in touch with them as we wait for a resolution. The club remains committed to growing and developing the sport and our operations with our youth teams, men's and women's, and BFC soccer schools remain unaffected by this decision. We urge the AIFF and FSL to end this impasse swiftly. The uncertainty benefits no one, and a prompt resolution is vital for the future of Indian football. Wow. That's a statement, huh? And this is a big statement, but you know what the club statement to me misses very, very clearly, if you ask me. We urge the AIFF and FSL to end this impasse swiftly. How can they end the impasse? It's not on them. Why does JSW or BFC not go to the Supreme Court and send this, put out this message, give them this message, right? Very, very difficult. Like, what's the use of starting academy just for 30 kids at young age? We need a lot of kids, right? Yeah, as many as we can, right? The Mohun Bagan fans are bothered about Al Nassr Ronaldo coming to Kolkata. They don't think if no ISL, then no Champions League. Yeah, that's very, very, yeah. You think Supreme Court literally made things worse along with Bajaj and his advocate? At the moment, Renan, yes. The Supreme Court of India, you know, the hearing of the AIFF constitution case has been going on for, what, 8 years? 8 years. A governance expert person will put you a proper AIFF constitution together in, what, a month? And those real experts will put together a constitution in 2 weeks. And we are sitting here over this case for 8 years. Right? The Supreme Court of India is harming the interest of Indian football. Right? Very important point you raised. I don't think players are motivated. Of course not, Ochit. If you think that these could be the last few matches you're playing for a while and you don't know what's going on, you know, the domino effect has started in respect. So, no, it has, right? Odisha FC were the first one. BFC follow. Chennai FC. Blasters. Mumbai City. Hyderabad FC. And I go on and on. So, yeah. Right? So, therefore, the problem is, yeah, it is a disaster. Looks like no one wants to get into Supreme Court case, like no one told them how supremely they F the system, yeah. Bro, I go back to the point that no one seems to have bothered about how to take matters forward because it is in their own interest. That's, in my opinion, the biggest problem, right? So we are in a situation which we are in, and yeah, let's wait and see what happens. What is this whole Bajaj advocate fiasco? And that just explained very short and still putting me in hard labor of going back in the video. Aditya, we didn't speak about it earlier. Simply, his lawyer said something in the Supreme Court which halted the MRA discussions, and which in the Supreme Court has been given wrong information, right? And this is again, I don't know if isn't that the job of the Supreme Court of India to know what is right, what is wrong, right? So, or any courts in that matter, right? I mean, or bodies, look at the whole AIFF, committees at the moment who are taking wrong decisions. I mean, most of the decisions in the AIFF committee most probably could be sent to CAS and they would be overturned. I don't know, Aditya, don't want to get into that. I don't want him, as a court says, Saurabh. The Supreme Court has just become another, who only cares for club, not country. Yeah, but sort of forget that part. To me, the coach is not of the level that I want and I need. That is my bigger concern at the moment. As far as it seems, only the Kolkata Council remains still playing the CFL. Yeah, let's see. And they're not playing well in the CFL. Huh? They're losing to some odd teams as well out there with the youngsters. So therefore, it is disaster time. So let's wait and see what happens. Very disturbing to me. Very, very disturbing to say the least. And let's. I don't know. I honestly don't know where this whole thing will take us. It's a disaster which has been happening, and it's just getting worse. We're getting worse, and we're just at the start of the whole thing. No? That is my big concern. We're just at the start. We have a sport graduate. She works in Iceland, FIFA tournaments. She said in other countries, football and government are as a separate entity. Here, government tries to get into football stuff. Then here, the government is getting into all kinds of stuff in sports. No? Look at the sports bill. That's the whole point. So therefore, for me, so I don't know. Not only Supreme Court, also some High Court, some states where opposition party ruling is harming India and current ruling party. Which is it? I don't know enough to be able to judge that. People always talk about how politics needs to be separated from sport, but it's shameful and impossible. Sports is like art, and art should make the normal feel disturbed and disturbed feel normal. Yeah, I don't think so. I think you can, there are means and ways of separating sports and politics. But for that, very, very clear steps need to be taken. And that is where we are faltering in Indian sports in general, where you've allowed political interference to go to a level which is not controllable. And it harms sport, right? India could be a much better sporting nation, should be a much better sporting nation, but we're not advancing because the priority in sports is not really sports. And that is to me, a very sad thing. And we'll have to see what, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is, very, very, Well, the West was given less funds in Kilo India by central government than Goa, so problems everywhere. Yeah, Blue, this is, so this is at all levels. And you can't take any politician or political party out of this, right? And that's the real problem, right? Changes here, changes there. Will it make it better? I don't know. Yeah, that's the problem. The sports person also themselves politicians. Yeah, right. That's the next level, right? We've seen with Kalyan Chaubey, with PT Usha at the top, what happens. We're seeing now what so-called legendary coaches or legendary players are doing. Putting the technical committee or advisors of the president above the exco. I think very dangerous. And let's see. If the sporting body like AIFF can generate its own revenue, even like BCCI, then the government interference would be a lot lesser, isn't it? I mean, 100% of the revenue by own. Harry, the AIFF doesn't get much money from the government. The point is, I don't know why people always keep on saying that the government is funding the AIFF. Listen, we're talking about, let's say, 120 crores. What is it? 50 crores are coming from Reliance. The AIFF is generating a certain bit of money. There are grants coming from FIFA and from AFC. The government has not put in much money in the last few years, right? And the AIFF has been eating off its own, money that it's kept on the side. So therefore, from my perspective, the government is spending much more on other sports. Football is the least, and I've said football doesn't get the support that it needs to get. You know, West Bengal government giving lakhs to Durga Puja committees rather than investing it in a better way like Odisha did. Yeah, but Raj, you know, Durga Puja is a very special thing in my opinion, because it has its cultural value, it has its social value, and it has an importance not only to Kolkata and Bengal. Listen, they used to didn't they give money like, I don't know, 50 lakhs to the clubs? I would rather target that. Why are you giving that 50 lakhs to the clubs? Why don't you invest that money and create the infrastructure to be playing better? Right? The West Bengal government is invested in stadiums, right? Or through MPs and MLAs also with the local programs. But we've lacked on the infrastructure front. We don't have a proper training facility in and around Kolkata that is a training facility which is not linked to a stadium, right? And that's the problem that West Bengal has, in my opinion. So therefore, for me, yeah, a lot of things need to change. And the BFC thing is a big one. To some shocking, yes, 100%. But yeah, what to do, what to say? Very big problem, and I don't know. It's a start. It's a start of a cycle, and the cycle is not going to be good in the next few days, I fear. We will be hearing this news a little bit more, and maybe also a little bit of pressure building on the AIFF, maybe for the AIFF to act. And I don't know, maybe the clubs are trying to convince the AIFF for them to go to the Supreme Court and say, hey, listen, we need to be allowed to at least extend the MMA. So yeah. Well, Bangalore FC was the third last club expected, but it came so soon. Blue. I mean, they had said that they would continue operations till the end of this month, right? So BFC had committed to operations for another, close to 4 weeks, right? But they're now pulling the plug. That's the reality, right? So therefore, very tricky. And yeah, Jindal has been criticizing AIFF. Yeah, but Raj, he can. And as someone who's invested, or his family has invested a lot of money into Indian football and sports, he can criticize the AIFF. But the point is that why don't you use your good offices and sort it out with the Ambanis? This is what I don't understand. Don't you think FC Goa should have participated in Durand Cup? Looking forward to qualify? No. Because Siddhant, for them, it's a distraction. You have to play here, there, everywhere, and then you could have been matches around the AFC Champions League 2 qualifier. And I think last year you heard Manolo does not rate the Durand Cup in its current form very highly. If the government isn't investing much, very less, shouldn't the bodies make decisions be affected by what government says? How does it happen in Europe, like BCI? Like Harry, in Europe, the government supports sports with quite a bit of money, directly to the federation, to the state associations, to the clubs, right? But governance matters in sports are the matters of theirs. It's not the matter of the government. So therefore, they don't get involved. So they keep separate, right? So that's the situation as it is. And yeah, let's wait on how things will move in what direction, because I think it's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous trend we are in. What are they doing, and what's their plan to achieve the match fitness? They're playing they're practicing and playing practice matches in Goa, right? What's the value of matches like today, Mohun Bagan against BSF, or playing Indian Army or whoever? What's the value in those matches? Playing Karbi Alang and all those teams, right? It's the value of the tournament is gone that it used to be, right? It is happening this year for the sake of happening, right? It would be government of any party, nobody cares about football. Yeah, that's the thing. I think the only person who's cared about sports in the last 2 years was Naveen Patnaik, no? Put Odisha on the map and we got to hockey. And now did some stuff for football, but now it's change of government and suddenly you're feeling it. You know? Can ISL teams loan out players to state leagues or even I League until ISL is back? Babalu's animation, ISL players are not allowed to play in state leagues. That's one, or at least the older ones are not. And I League, when's the I League happening? The I League is also not starting before the end of December, early Jan, at this moment, at this rate. Yeah. Yeah. What will be a good output FC Goa on ACL 2 or ACL 3? And at the moment, if they lose the ACL 2 qualifier, I don't even know if FC Goa will go and play on the AFC Challenge League. Why would you keep a team alive for another 2 months to play in an AFC comp? I don't know. Again, the question will be also about Mohun Bagan at some stage. I don't know, right? While I League clubs even afford the ISL player wages if I League starts late, no. The salaries will collapse. If the ISL disappears, salaries will collapse. Sure. So we'll have to wait and see. It's I don't know. I don't know where this is gonna go in the end. It's very, 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 very tricky at this moment in time, I would say. What do you think? Who's going to win on 30th August? Siddhant, I don't know. I would like FC Goa to win, right? But FC Goa goes without proper match practice into this competition. I'll see we'll be playing league, so they have an advantage. But at home, monsoons, who knows? Mumbai with the foreigners can't even beat border security force with double digits and fans make listen and all gods. Yeah, but Raj, that you said about Kolkata football fans. Now, that's the sad part. Now they don't want to wake up to realities. They are also part of Indian football, but they say, "Oh no, we only care about our clubs." This is as long as this culture on the Calcutta Maidan does not change and they understand you're part of something bigger, nothing will happen. That is part of our problem in Indian football today, right? That we are so small in our mindset, in our thinking, that we're unable to understand that there are bigger things that need to be sorted in the interest of Indian football. Good evening, Simon. Indian football have brought some life back to me, but well, I have to continue my work still. Simon, that's life. I think all of us have to put in a shift on our hours. And given the realities at this moment in time, it's very, very tough. But yeah, we're fighting on, right? Once more reminder, if you're liking the conversation, do leave a like behind. Share with other people, 22 likes so far. And if you're new, 2,810 subscribers. Thank you, everyone who's joining in. And let's keep on growing the community. I need your help. I need your support. Otherwise, that will not be good. Playing against local Goan clubs is better than playing against Kabalang teams as they're fun. The local Goan clubs don't have foreign players at the moment, no. The fans watching Derby doesn't watch national team matches. That's also a fact, Raj. What do you think of upcoming U20 qualifiers? You see them topping the groups, becoming bright light in darkness of despair. Harry, very tough in the women's qualifiers, very tough. Yeah. It's more sad part. Yeah, Raj, it is. So Khalid's appointment was inevitable, wasn't it? Who knows if Stephen has even applied for it? They did apply for the job and Khalid has been appointed, but Khalid hasn't accepted. So Simon, we discussed this now a little earlier in the show. Yeah, this is where we are. So once more, slowly coming to an end on April 4th, So let's see what happens. BFC announced a little while ago that they will be shutting operations of their first team. And therefore, for me, as someone said, another domino falling after Odisha FC. we're most probably going to hear from a few more clubs, and let's see. And let's see where we go with that. And people like Musaka, playmaker India hyping, but no, he's not. So he asked very valid questions, I would say. No, I'm not countering, as you said, right? They're playing against one clubs while not playing in Durand Cup, having teams. Acha, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so now I get your point. Yeah. What are your predictions regarding Kafa? Are we going to get cooked? Let's see who's the coach. Let's see when will the camp start with. It's the 4th of August. Let's see who we put out on the 29th of August playing for India. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Shubhatopal has to put in his gloves on again and play himself. Well, literally saying those wins as European, it's just embarrassing. But anyway, let me not get into those. We have bigger problems at this moment in time. Once more, reminder, like, share, and subscribe. Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. Watch my short videos, which I do. Did something about the AIFF, where I feel we need a full restart. Did a little bit of a longer thing today. Khalid Jamil before that, other teams, other crises, and keep on supporting. And I'll be back. Not sure if I can make tomorrow. If I make tomorrow, I'll do an earlier live. So letting you know already. If I do a live, it'll be earlier. And keep on supporting our own foot. And yeah, this is the reality of Indian football. I'll take, given the circumstances, I can see another Kalyan Chobu 2.0 unfolding. Do we even have anyone still who understands a thing or two about for who isn't a politician wearing you? Simon, there are good people around and they need to stand up. I've spoken to a few and I've told them on the face that you now need to, show your face, and let's see if these people are willing to do that. Your opinion, Durand Cup, says a win what these cups which have actually risen in recent years. It's not nice for them to win it, but in my opinion has no values, right? Asia 20 Asian Cup qualifiers on the 6th of August. They start. Yes, Saurabh. Let's see what they do. But in the men's game, it's doom and gloom. So this is now final. Thanks. Good night. As I said, if I do a live tomorrow, it will be a little earlier. Otherwise, I see you back on Wednesday. Good night.